What's up, Tech Boy? I just wanted to make another quick video on inversions. I don't even have any particular plans as to what I want to talk about. I just have a few ideas that I've been thinking about. So, I was thinking about crossers. This is what I thought was crosser. I guess technically a crosser necessitates this weaving motion. So I'm lacking a term for what I can just call a cross position right here. And I'm just going to call it a 1 because it has 1 degree of twist to it. I'm talking about the arms, you know. We have 0 degrees of twist where the arms are completely separated. And then 1 where there's overlap, not necessarily touching, but there is an overlap of the two arms. And that's just 1 degree. 180 degrees of rotation that leads to this twist. So that's a 1. And I'm going to say that this is just a sustained 1 degree of twist. Now I was thinking how this 1 here, it's not very different from an inversion, a barrel roll inversion like this. In fact, it's pretty much exactly the same. You know, if you took away the body, it's 2 poi rotating in 2 separate planes right next to one another. So the math is the same. So the only thing that differentiates it is the body. And a lot of people are saying that we shouldn't think about the body when we work out all this stuff, but I guess I'm in disagreement a little bit, and I feel that wherever we're putting the poi, if we're putting it through the negative space here, if there's this tension between the tethers and the wrists, that, you know, that does change the move a little bit, and we should take that into consideration whenever we're working this all out. So, I guess talk about weaves and how we were talking about the degrees of twist that happen in weaves, how we go from 0 degrees of twist to 1 degree of twist to 0 degrees of twist to 1 degree of twist. And that's what happens in a normal 3-beat weave. 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Or technically, if we're counting every 180 degrees, it would be 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And people were talking about how to designate, instead of just 0 and 1, how we can add 1 plus or 1 minus depending on what's happening to the degree of twist at that exact moment. So for instance, we have a 0 here in the 3-beat weave, or when we open up to the side we have a 0, and then we're adding 1 degree of twist. So perhaps this section right here is a plus 1, and then maybe this section right here is a minus 1, plus 1, minus 1, 0, plus 1, 0, I don't know. And I think that that's kind of irrelevant because, you know, the positions that the body are in don't necessitate what sort of degree change is going to happen. Like right here, yeah, in the 3-beat weave I can open up and do a 0, so maybe it's 1 degree of twist, and maybe it's a 1 minus and I'm opening up to a 0. However, I don't have to take away a degree of twist here. I can stack a degree of twist with a single hand-led inversion or single poi-led inversion. So I don't think we need to call any degree position a 1 plus or a 1 minus necessarily. We just call it a 1, you know. We have a 1 that's not inverted, so it's a cross position, it's just a 1. You can take that 1, let's see, I mean, you can have it come, you know, in different positions like this. It's still 1 degree across here. You can bend it around in any which way, but it's still just a 1. And there's different positions we can do from a 1. Like I said, we can open it up to a 0, bring the hand around, like we do in a 3-beat weave. And here's the other things you can do. So in a cross position like this, which I'm calling a 1, with the hand that's on the bottom, we can see how one hand is on top, one hand is on the bottom. So right now my right hand is on bottom. we can bring it up through the negative space in my arms and do a single hand-led inversion. And this is called degree stacking, I guess. Stacking in the sense that you're just, I don't know, that's what it's called. You're maintaining the same degree, but you're stacking which arm is on top, which poi is on top, and you're maintaining that. So you got a 1, and we can stack a 1. So it's always 1 degree of twist. No matter what part of this pattern, there's always this underlying 1 degree of twist that's going on with my arms. So, yeah, that's one of the options you can do from this position. With the arm that's on the bottom, you can also do a poi-led inversion and stack the degree in the same way, where the poi come up through the space first, and we're still at 1 degree the whole time. I have another thing, side note on poi-led, hand-led inversions. Notice that in order to do anything that's necessarily poi-led or hand-led, you have to isolate it. Because if there's no isolation, for instance in a Knott-Coleman weave, there's not necessarily any isolation going on. Okay, right here where the poi comes in through the middle instead of on the outside, like this. This is a normal 3-beat weave, but the Knott-Coleman is where the poi comes in through the inside, inside here. And traditionally, I think the Knott-Coleman doesn't necessarily have any isolation. So as the poi, so here's a freeze frame of the Knott-Coleman. Right now, my right hand over here is going to come up through the middle. So again, it's going to come up through the middle without isolating. And as it comes up, there's no isolation. So pretty much the poi and my hand come up through the middle at the same time. So the poi isn't leading, the hand isn't leading. So it's just an in-swing. It's just a pass that comes through the negative space of the body, but neither the poi nor the hand is leading. Now if we isolate it, that's how we can get hand-led and poi-led. So you see here my hand leads through the middle, and the poi gets a little bit of an isolation in order to achieve that. Same thing with poi-led. The poi kind of isolates a little bit, and we can shoot the poi through the negative space before the hand gets there. So isolation, I believe, is the key to achieving poi-led or hand-led inversions. Anyways, going back to a 1 here, we got a 1. We went through 2 options what we can do. With the bottom hand, we can shoot it through the middle with a poi-led inversion. We can shoot it through the middle with we can shoot it through the middle with a hand-led inversion. We can also shoot it through the middle with a poi-led inversion. We can also, what I just talked about, shoot it through the middle with just an in-swing, where there's not sort of any inversion at all. And these are all stacking 1 degree, so it's just maintaining 1 degree of twist the entire time. Now with the hand that's on top, we can also, if you shoot the poi that's on top, this is my left poi right now, if we shoot that through the middle, that's going to add more degrees of twist. See, if I shoot this through the middle, I either go, okay, so if it comes through the middle, I can either go into an inversion, which, like I was saying earlier, is the same sort of thing that's going on in a 1, only it's quote-unquote inverted, which again requires a little bit of isolation. Without the isolation, it's really almost impossible to do it completely with no isolation, because I can't really explain why. But, okay, so that's what happens if we bring the top poi in a 1 through the middle with a poi-led inversion. It goes into a barrel roll, 1 poi-led, 1 hand-led. If we bring the top poi into a hand-led inversion, which is kind of difficult, you have to get the poi to come down in front of the wrist. Kind of how I was talking about in the other video about the getting into love lacing. how you just got to kind of put the poi, drop it down before the wrist, and that will get you into love lacing from a crosser, with the hand that's on top instead of the hand that's on bottom. So that's an option from a 1. So if you take the hand that's on top with a 1 in the middle with a poi lead, goes into a barrel roll. If you take the hand that's on top with a hand lead, goes into love lacing. And if we take, let's see, also if we have a 1, we can lead the poi through the middle, and then we can get into a straitjacket, which I can't just sit here and maintain a straitjacket without weaving it, but it's, you know, theoretically possible, where you could bring this top poi through the middle and shoot to the outside, and then keep those planes spinning on each side. Let's see if I can do it. No, I can't. But that would be getting into it too, because it's wrapping it up even more by bringing this through the middle, and then you'd be spinning this one over here while spinning this one over here. Again, totally mathematically similar to what's going on here, but there's a 2 going on instead of a 1. So I don't really know what I'm getting at. Ultimately, I'm just thinking out loud, exploring the different options that we can get at from a 1, and just pointing out that this position can't necessarily be a 1 plus or a 1 minus, because it's just all contextualized by what pattern you're trying to achieve. But we shouldn't list body positions as 1 pluses or 1 minus, perhaps, just because it limits what we can do with them, because we can do certain other things with each body position. And yeah, I don't know. So that was just my thinking out loud. Maybe it revealed something for you. See what else we can bounce off of that.